Hey everyone, PrinceBrightstar here. And we've got Final Fantasy XIV here today with the 7.5 MSQ. And to that, all I can say is, alright. Ole, ole, ole. This is one of the new big fish that was introduced with 7.5. Anyway, like I was saying, we got MSQ to check out today. Let's go ahead and do that now. So, in Fate's footsteps. I trust you were able to get plenty of rest? Good. I thought we might take a moment to ponder our next steps, and perhaps reflect on our recent journey. I must admit my thoughts often drift to the Mist Continent and our stay in Trino. It was heartening to see the Milala prosper despite the odds, and my own flesh and blood strive in that Levin-wrecked landscape. Sphene was eager to restore diplomatic relations, and I have no doubt that Alexandria will provide much-needed support for their neighbor. I, too, shall do everything I can to aid my home away from home, my wonderful, welcoming family included. For the time being, though, I'd say we've accomplished all within our power. I suppose that just leaves the matter of preservation's research. It is yet unclear how Calyx learned the techniques he used to summon his Dark Primal. And there is likewise much that remains unknown about the key. Let us hope that Shale's efforts bear more fruit. Can you hear me? Shale and I have been reviewing the decrypted files and have uncovered some intriguing details. Would you care to join us? We'll be with you right away. Excellent. Shale seems rather eager to speak with you all. Come and find us in the Dawntrail lab when you're ready. Uncanny timing indeed. Let us make for the containment complex. And that's going to take us to the elevators back there. Not that far of a trip. But yeah, this is basically the lead up into what we now know as the Evercold expansion. Hey, things are going great. Can't complain at all here. Looking forward to seeing what this MSQ brings. Heading for the containment complex right this way. Off we go. So, those that don't remember, we found this place, I think it was in 7.3? Maybe it was 7.2? As basically this secret research spot that actually had a whole bunch of puzzles we had to solve in order to get into where Calyx's main research was. Hey there, thanks for joining me today, Jonesman. Let's see, Yashtola, what do you have to say? Given that all the data is stored within electrope devices, Shale's expertise has proven invaluable. Alright, Shale. Talk to me here.
Ah, you're just in time for a progress report. The decryption is finally complete. As we suspected, the data represents a partial record of Preservation's research documents. A quick scan of the files, however, failed to turn up the information Y'shtola was after.
Indeed. No mention of the Ascians, or primal summoning techniques for that matter. While Calyx doubtless received instruction from someone possessed of such knowledge, there was naught to identify this benevolent mentor. I am, however, pleased to say that we found several reports concerning the key.
And what did they say?
We know the key is used to open paths between worlds, and was a treasured relic of the Milala. And just as the Milala were unable to return after reaching the Mist Continent, so too was Preservation unable to gain a mastery of the prize which had passed into their possession. The data suggests that a particular formula or procedure is required. A process which Calyx appears to have understood to some degree. Yet the key proved fickle. Perfectly replicating conditions was no guarantee of success. And even when they did manage to generate a modest portal, the destination was never the one they expected. The reports practically screamed their frustration, describing the experience as being dragged around by a traveler picking roads without rhyme or reason. Serves them right, I say.
I seem to remember
After
a
much
certain
trial and
Azem
error,
being named that.
Preservation began to experiment with external actuation devices for the key. Striving to maintain a stable pathway to a chosen location, they conceived of the technology that forms the gate to the Golden City.
So, their tribulations ultimately afforded them control of the key, albeit in a limited capacity, which, of course, explains why they were able to instruct Suralja in its use, thus enabling the unprecedented feat of transferring Everkeep and its environs to the source. After the Endless Fiend took the key unto herself, she opened pathways to other reflections in her hunt for ether, did she not?
The Milala merely used it to facilitate their exodus. To think what the key has now wrought in different hands.
For all we know, the actuation device augmented the key's power beyond its intended scope. Were your goal to plunder whole worlds of their ether, a tool designed to simply transfer people would likely be insufficient.
Shale, I don't suppose you would be able to remove the actuation device?
The machine made for that very purpose is still functional, thankfully. It shouldn't be a problem.
What do you think? We don't even know how the key works. If the device is somehow interfering or amplifying its capabilities, I believe we ought to remove it.
Yeah. Probably the Crystal of Azem could help with that. Instead.
Give me a moment.
Will help with trying to activate it instead. It was being housed basically inside, like, something like a lantern, I guess. A way to light
My
the
word.
dark. Oh, you stole it with her eyes.
Ishtola?
This is the first time I've beheld the key in all its unobscured glory. The sheer density is extraordinary. 'Tis akin to the structures we saw beneath the Tempest.
Now that you mention it, the ornamentation is reminiscent of Amarot.
Have you noticed anything since the key has been in your possession?
And here we go. It reminds me of a Zem's crystal.
You're suggesting the key has some connection with Azem. A plausible theory, although one we are yet unequipped to prove.
Well, we could just put the two things next to each other.
My apologies.
Granted, it'd be a random warp, but...
Hello? Yes, this is Cryo speaking. That was Ojika with a message for us.
An urgent matter?
I'm not altogether sure. Tataru requires our counsel, and hoped to call upon us in person at the Baldessian Annex. Though disappointed we were not present, she appeared content to wait until our travels brought us back to Sharlayan, insisting that it did not merit our immediate summons. Her tone suggested otherwise, however, and Ojika felt compelled to contact us directly.
Mayhap the time has come for another journey across the salt.
You'd best go. Though I'll not deny that I'll be sad to see you leave.
You've still got our attention. We'll likely be back.
Oh, Shale. I can't even begin to thank you for all you've done. We will be forever indebted to you and your Oblivion colleagues.
The debt is ours. We'll never forget the sacrifices you've made for us. For Alexandria. In the meantime, I shall keep sifting through the data. You'll hear as soon as I find anything of note.
Actually, I should like to stay here a little longer, if you don't mind.
That works too.
You are most welcome.
And might I borrow the key for a while? I wish to study it further. With the utmost care, I assure you.
Well then, shall we be off? Ojika will be expecting us.
This chapter is called Trail to the Heavens. Let's see what they have to say before we leave. Given that preservation could not unlock the secrets of the key, it should come as no surprise that we too struggle to understand its nature. In any event, do give Tataru my regards when you see her. I ought to mention that we also uncovered information unrelated to the key. According to Shale, certain confidential reports are now accessible via devices in the Researcher's Commons and the Director's Office. You might wish to peruse the files before you depart for Charlian. My colleagues will be just as saddened by your departure. Until we meet again, safe journeys. Alright, well then, we're gonna spend a couple of minutes taking a look through those files, because I am kind of interested what they managed to find. It appears to be a researcher's personal data tablet. We might have come across this one already. Let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, that looks familiar. Alright, the director's office, and then back out the entrance. Amongst other personal effects, you find what is presumably the director's data tablet. A closed locker stands next to the table. Let's search the locker one more time, shall we? The door to the locker swings open easily. Still just Calyx! Alright. Let's take a look at the data tablet. Upon activating the device, a newly accessible section titled Memory Duplication catches your eye. It is well known that the Alexandrian royal family promulgated a number of fundamental principles governing endless research. Among those was the strict prohibition on memory duplication. However, in the wake of the storm surge, the provisional government sought to revise this prohibition and make one key exception: Queen Sphene. The decision was ultimately made to equip her Endless counterpart with a Tiara variant regulator, thereby enabling the routine backup of her memories. Intriguingly, it was Master Calyx who objected most strenuously to this proposal. It was his assertion that one's corporeal form, whether flesh and blood or endless construct, is nothing more than a vessel, and that as a vessel, it is to be modified and experimented upon should circumstances require it. Memory, however, was sacrosanct and inviolable. The very essence of life and personhood. When Master Calyx eventually acquiesced to the... Yikes, this has some difficult language in it, but that's fine. Acquiesced to the provisional government's request, a number of this facility's personnel duplicated their memories to verify the efficacy of the technology. Yet Master Calyx refused to even entertain the notion. To this day, he has avoided creating even a single backup of his own memories, a resolution which I myself have chosen to emulate. Which again goes to show after our battle, he simply moved his memories rather than copied himself. Courtesy of Shale's decryption efforts, the previously inaccessible research objective section is now available for perusal. Hey, Rooks, how you doing today? The primary research objective of Containment Complex 1029 is the indefinite preservation of the Endless. Continued improvements to Soul Cell and Regulator functionality are intended to facilitate the Endless Fiend's management of living memory. It is via this process of iteration that we endeavor to identify and resolve any and all issues inherent in endless creation. Chief among known issues is our present inability to control the key, for if we fail to secure the reflections as additional sources of ether, our ultimate goal will remain forever out of reach. Okay, so not a whole lot to be learned there. But hey, they're still working on things here, so we will connect back up with the key soon enough. Let's make our way over to Old Charlian so we can meet up with Tataru. Or rather, Ojika. I guess they'll let Tataru know we're in town. Welcome back, and what a pleasure it is to see you two, Prince. Thank you for contacting us, Ojika. We came as soon as we could. Of course, I felt it prudent given how troubled Tataru was. Your concern is much appreciated. As it so happens, we'd reached a convenient juncture in our investigation. Shale and Y'shtola have matters well in hand, leaving us free to make this trip. That's a relief to hear. Now, let me fetch Tataru for you. Why don't you take a moment to relax in the main hall? I'm sure you're all still fatigued from your journey. To the main hall we go, for what I expect is going to be a voiced cutscene. Given how frequently Tataru is away on business these days, 'tis a small miracle we're in the same place at the same time. Only now is it beginning to feel like we've actually returned. Such fond memories within these four walls.
Planning your next journey?
Oh no, just reminiscing. Thinking back to when you bought this map, and how you all encouraged me to make the voyage to Tural.
Are you glad you did?
As if you need ask. Welcome back.
Yeah, come to think of it, there was some concern back in the last patch regarding Grahatia and his voice, and based on what I'm hearing, I think the concern really wasn't really a concern here. I think the fact that their voice actor had just finished a major role probably played into their voice. Right now, their voice is sounding great here. Let's see here. It's been a while.
I'm so glad you're here.
Ojika contacted us. He intimated that you were rather concerned. Come to think of it, Alphino said he and Alize would pay you a visit upon their return. Have you not seen them?
Oh no, they were here. I was regaled with many a tale of your Turali adventures. It was only once they departed for Garlemord that the rumors came to my attention. Rather alarmingly, void-sent sightings seem to be on the rise across the star. I was reluctant to bother you with mere hearsay, especially when you had more pressing matters to contend with. But earlier I received a confidential report from the Grand Company of Eorzea. It's as if a mighty dam has been breached, flooding the land with foul creatures. For a blessing, most nations have managed to keep the invaders in check, and casualties appear to be minimal thus far. Though the same cannot be said for those regions with a deeper connection to the void. Their fissures continue to manifest without end, putting countless innocents in danger.
A deeper connection to the void. Garlemald is the home of the Reapers, is it not?
It is. Alphino and Alize were there when the trouble began, and have since sent word that the situation has taken a dreadful turn.
A short while earlier in Tertium.
Thus concludes the abridged account of our time in Tural. Now I shall leave you with the words of the late Dawn servant, Galul Jajar. Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship. A notion that rings true for Eorzeans no less than it does for the diverse peoples of Tuliolal.
And for Garleans as well. Even sharing something as simple as a local dish can pave avenues of understanding. It's up to all of us to forge new bonds, together.
Thank you for sharing your tale. Better they hear it firsthand than endure my clumsy retelling. Your words give me hope that we might achieve something similar here in Garlemald.
We all have the capacity to affect change. Our time in Tural taught us that much. And now that we've returned, it's time we rolled up our sleeves and got back to work.
I've already sent missives to the other nations, informing them of our Alexandrian friends. I also intend to notify the Garlean community officially. If both sides are amenable to the proposition, we shall gladly assist in establishing diplomatic relations with Alexandria and Tuliolal.
Thank you. But are you sure you've recovered from your journey? It sounded like you've hardly had time to catch your breath.
Sir! Lapis Manalis is overrun with void scent. We've sustained heavy civilian casualties.
What?
Clutium Squadron reporting in. We're under attack. Void Scent appeared out of nowhere and ambushed us during a routine inspection. Damn it. Is that another Fisher? Oh, no, no, no! Ah!
My comrades are under attack. We have to do something.
There's no time to lose! Come on!
Alphano and Alizé can handle the situation there. We better get to the 13th immediately.
The Garlean community is ill-equipped to defend themselves against such a threat. Even with the aid of the twins and the Ilzabard contingent, they face daunting odds.
We shall leave for Garlemald immediately.
Thank you.
I still think we should cut this off at the
I was able
source.
to contact Thancred and Urianger too. They're already on their way. With any luck, you'll be able to rendezvous with them on arrival.
I mean, if those two are there as well, really, we should be heading to Radhan and talking to Vritra to have him open up the portal back to the 13th. That would be my suggestion in this moment, not spending our time over in Garlemald, where, you know, other portals could open up elsewhere on the planet. Clearly, we made the right decision to come to Sharlayan, though I dearly wish the circumstances of our return were not so grave. I don't believe we've seen Thancred and Urianger since our battle with the Endless Fiend, have we? They too must have returned here at some point. I've been told Alphano and Alizé have withdrawn to Tertium to request aid on the front lines. They seemed intent on rejoining the battle once reinforcements were ready, but I shall tell them to wait until you arrive. Looks like we don't have any choice on this then. I'm gonna take the silver piece. Sorry to send you packing so soon after your homecoming, but Garlemald desperately needs your aid. That's true, but I mean, where else would Void Scent be coming from? We know the 13th was the one shard that got flooded with darkness. I mean, granted, it could be that one of the other shards also got flooded with darkness. But at the very least, this would be an opportunity for us to reunite with Golbez and Zero, and, you know, have them give us a hand as well, if that's, if they're not the cause of this. Anyway, Kryl. Clearly, well, okay, they would never be the cause of this, but there's gotta be something going on the 13th, or another shard. Clearly, we made the right decision to come to Sharlayan, though I dearly wish the circumstances of our return were not so grave. Two worlds entwined. And just like that, we find ourselves faced with another emergency. Fortunately, there is yet time for us to make a difference. Let us make haste for Tertium. To Tertium we go. Hey there, son of Zero. You're funny. It's funny. I was just talking about Zero a moment ago here, and you happened to hop in. Oh, let's see. That is true, yeah, especially if we go by the example of what was happening on the first, with those that were aspected by the light too much. Yeah, we don't know what's going on the moon of the 13th. That's for certain. Let's talk to Urianger. Well met, my friend. Now, let us hearken unto Alphino's words. It's been far too long, Prince. Not that long, Thancred. Thank you for coming at such short notice. I'm glad you're here. Ah, Prince, you've made it in time.
You picked a frosty spot for a reunion.
Tataru sent word that you were coming. Full glad am I to see you all. Though I'm afraid this is no time for pleasantries. Planar fissures have opened up across Garlemald, inundating the region with void scent. As far as we can ascertain, there are 2 focal points of their assault. The Ilzabard contingent are combating the threat in Lapis Manalis. Although they have suffered casualties, they appear to have the upper hand.
As well they should. The many talented Uldan thaumaturges among them should be more than capable of closing any fissures they encounter.
Which leaves the second focal point, the Clutium. Eulus and the Garlean community are attempting to mount a counterattack, but are struggling to cope with the sheer number of voidsent. They've fallen back to the north of the Imperial Palace. Can you lend your aid in securing the area?
With your blessing, I would tend to the wounded returning from battle.
Of course, Kryl. Thank you. The quickest route from here to the front is via the train tracks. Once we arrive, we can support the Garlean forces as we make for the fissure in the munitions factory.
Did Alphino just say Kryl's name wrong? I'm kind of surprised that didn't get picked up on. Alright. I've often thought that if I had been more adept in tending to the wounded of Solution 9, perhaps not so many would have been lost. I shall do my utmost to see that I do not look back on this battle with regret. Rooks, I suspect that there are fragments of Zodiark on each of the moons that we still haven't gone to yet. In these frosty climes, the weather is as much an adversary as any void scent. We ought not tarry. The Clytium once supplied the Imperial Army with all manner of munitions and war machina. Like many such facilities, I am told it had fallen to ruin in the wake of the Empire's collapse. Somebody's buying fragments for Bajja from me, or my retainers, rather. Let's see. Even with Magitech support, the Garleans are struggling to beat back the Void Scent. We must join them as soon as possible. I can't say I have your knack for dispatching Void Scent, but our time in Tyrol gave me many opportunities to hone my skills. You shan't find me wanting. I have seen to my preparations. I suggest we sally forth ere the cold winds sap our strength. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and form a party. Let's see who we have. So I'll take Raha as...
ever ready.
Our fates are not
Would
yet
be a
sealed.
pleasure as always. Ever ready.
I have no choice but either to take Alphino or Ryanje as my healer. I can't take Graha. Oh, that's a shame. Okay. Then, Ryanje.
Our fates are not yet
I stand
sealed.
ever
Let's
ready.
give it our all.
Alright, let's do it. Oh, I gotta close this out first. I can't recall ever seeing one of those having purple hair before. Alright, let's grab some food and let's get going. Make sure we got them, and let's press forward.
You underestimate me.
Together we shall overcome this.
One target left.
You're a sight for sore eyes.
Together we shall overcome this.
Now, I know there's probably going to be a question of if I'm going to be playing once 8.0 comes out, based on what we've learned for the expansion, if I'm going to be going with the Reborn or the Evolved playstyle. And really, I can't make that decision until, you know, the content is actually out and I get a chance to try it for myself. But at least as of right now, I'm leaning Reborn, simply because with the new Evolved way things are being done, it basically sections the different tank jobs into either a main tank or an off-tank spec. but only for Evolved. It doesn't do it for the regular Reborn playstyle. And I could still see myself being a main tank in the future. Alright, where are we going? This way.
We'll handle things from here. Take care of the fissure.
Turn to stone, huh? Oh, I see. You actually do have to wait there. Looks like I guessed right on that one. It's very similar to the Extreme Caution debuff, or also the there's a similar one which basically puts a dice over your head.
The stars shall grant thee succor.
The interesting thing here is that this appears to be a hybrid of both technology and a void set. So Rooks, you might be onto something there. Unless we're dealing with, like, a time jump that happened on the 13th. Which, you know, could have happened. Because we really don't know how the time aligned there. Versus how things were on the 1st. That plus the purplish hue that we're seeing on a lot of these enemies is also making me think they may not actually be from the 13th. Still, might have been a good idea to have Golbez and Zero along for this. Especially with Zero's ability to create those memorial crystals.
radiant starlight become my blade!
They're reusing the Ferdiad model again here. If I may. I may. Alright, boss time again. Short. Alright. Let's see what you do. You are rolling around. Gotcha, and you don't stop before you actually attack. We gotta be a little bit more reactive compared to other bosses like this. So you want to try to stay out of pace with it if you can. I'm still trying to figure out the timing on it. If I may. Down they go.
There.
The stars shall grant thee succor.
If I may. Looks like we're going for a ride. I'll say getting out there quick today.
Together we shall overcome this.
I want to see if I can get my meter built up. Yep, we're good. Alright, let's take on this boss.
Welcome to my domain, mortals.
Ooh, interesting voice you got. Void Dart, get behind them.
Carry out my will. Now for something different.
This is going rather smoothly so far.
Time to pull the string.
Ooh, okay, I think we gotta look away. Okay, I have no idea what I did. Oops, did not mean to double defend there. Now they're moving around. Yeah, I thought that was looking like a good spot. Get behind. This looks open. Oh, well, Graha taking it away from Alizé.
Time to pull the string.
Okay, they got me that time. I was expecting them to dance again. Okay, so I guess really all you gotta do is just make sure you're moving during that and you're fine. And down they go. But their ether has not dissipated, so I don't think we're done with this guy yet. Alright. I'd wager the creature is not long for this world. Oriange? We need only close the fissure. Don't worry, I have my eye on them. They still breathe. albeit faintly. There's no fight left in them now. Alright, let's get out of here and see what's up with this guy.
I think that's all of them.
We need but seal the fissure to prevent further ingress.
It's over. I can only imagine the extent of the damage were it not for your aid. On behalf of the Garlean community, I thank you for all you've done for my people, for my home.
I shall close the fissure post-haste.
Wait! If you do that, I will be trapped here.
You risked your life in vanquishing the creature. Would you at least let me bear the burden of deciding its fate?
Go for it.
You want to go back? To the void? Your kind have entered this realm before. Some seeking death that they might rejoin the life stream. But you would choose that dark, deathless place?
The wind is fresh and pure, untouched by darkness. Perhaps it won't be a blessing to meet my end in such a place. But I cannot yet bear to part with the void. If only the winds would blow there, as they do here. I long to return, to see my home unsullied, as it once was.
We know that pain all too well. If that is your wish, you must forsake this aggression. Go back to the void and devote yourself to its restoration. I have a friend, Zero, who hails from your home. She and her companions strive to bring light into the void from another world blighted with imbalance. I hear their efforts have already met with some success, One day, they'll drive the darkness from the void. I'm sure of it.
His soul is imbued with the will of all those I have consumed. We shall return to our world and seek out this Zero. Then we shall see if there is truth in your words.
She won't disappoint you. That much I guarantee.
Well, then that confirms it is the 13th we're dealing with here. Still, I was left with the impression that after Zero must happen, there was nothing left on the 13th aside from Golbez and Zero. Maybe I mistook that.
Bravo! I think Zero will approve.
Oh,
Indeed, that was truly heartening to see.
Understanding begets fellowship, right? I thought I might lead by example.
Well then, shall we head back?
Alright, let's check in with everybody here. That boy's come a long way. All credit to Zero for nudging him in the right direction. With the Collectium's fissure sealed, I dare say the Void Scent incursion is at an end. Void Scent not only absorb the ether of those they consume, but their thoughts as well. With such a legion of minds at their disposal, one hopes they prove a capable ally for Zero. You have my heartfelt appreciation. Without your intervention, I have no doubt the casualties would have been far greater. Ulysses was quick to put our words, or rather, those of the Dawn Servant, into practice. Reports have begun trickling in. By all accounts, the Ilsabard contingent was successful in containing the threat on their front. For Void Scent to attack in such numbers just as we were finding our feet, I daren't imagine the consequences had you not provided such timely aid. On behalf of my comrades, thank you. Thank you all. Let's go with the battle dance. Okay. So, what next? As you might have gathered, the Dawn Servant's wisdom struck a chord. I only hope my words resonate as strongly with the Void Scent we met. Okay, they're saying the same thing. Thancred!
The Ilsabard contingent have contained the threat on their front. Things appear to be under control, for the time being. Though it remains unclear why the fissures opened up in the first place. According to Tataru, similar ruptures are occurring across the star.
One thing is clear, however. The phenomenon is not without pattern. The tendency for fissures to emerge is pronounced in regions deeply connected to the void. Places where the barrier between the two worlds is at its thinnest.
Can we go meet Vitra now?
I fear there may be a place in far greater peril than Garlemald. Though it hath since been sealed, you will recall there is a great void gate that we ourselves had cause to open. A gate which was instrumental in our bid to reunite Vritra with his sister and put an end to Golbez's dark plot.
I suppose there's also technically the one at the top of the Crystal Tower as well.
Oh gods. The moon.
With our attention fixed upon planar fissures, I failed to consider this vulnerability. All other paths unto the void are but pinpricks in the veil compared to that great lunar rift.
And that rift might be yawning open as we speak. We'd better hurry.
Somebody call the Loporrits.
Let us make for Bestway's Burrow. I dare say the Loporrits are well aware of current events.
We ought to have Kryl join us once she finishes tending to the wounded. I shall likewise contact Y'shtola. Her knowledge of the moon's void gate is second to none.
Alphino, Alize, please do what you must to keep our world safe.
We'll be back before you know it.
A quick word, if you will. I'm not sure whether you'll run into Zero during the course of all this, but if you do, would you give this to her? Emergency rations, in case of a protracted battle. Can't imagine she's eating all that well in the void. She likes dumplings.
I'll make sure it gets delivered. And they're in a panic.
We're doomed! Doomed, I say!
Given thy panicked state, I presume the Loporrits too are beset with void scent.
Oh, what sweet relief it is to see you all! Yes, Voidsend, and lots of them. They suddenly came pouring forth from the crater.
I had dearly hoped to find my worries unfounded.
For some unknown reason, the Void Gate seems to have partially opened. Living Ray dashed off to activate the brands and halt the Fiend's invasion. But she hasn't come back, and we've since lost contact.
I suggest we make for the brands without delay.
Let's go. Although, I do wonder what the state of everything is inside there. I mean, obviously they're panicking, but are they actually panicking right in this moment? I'm looking for hidden NPC text. Oh, they actually are running around, aren't they? Okay. That's just one of those NPCs wobbling away. Oh my, I hadn't expected you to grace me with your presence again. I wish I had prepared something clever to say this time. Okay, so maybe they're not so panicked in the moment once we're out of the cutscene. Aside from those NPCs that went running past us. I had to check! Where are we even going? Over there, okay. My valiant savior, I was so frightened I dared not move an ilm. Oh, you're looking for Livingway? I think I saw her heading southwest, towards the Drowning Brand. She had several slaughter bots in tow, but I worry they won't be enough for all the Void sent. You'd better hurry. Southwest we go. There's Livingway.
In any real danger, of course. I knew you would realize our plight and rush to our rescue. Aetherius is likewise plagued with void scent. If only we'd prioritized further development of the void scent slaughter bots, we could have stemmed the tide ourselves. Oh, what a tremendous demonstration that would have been. Irrefutable proof that I was mankind's staunchest ally and the greatest lubberite to ever live. I can practically taste the praise.
A little late for that.
Fortunately, I was able to activate the brands. Should any more void sent emerge from the gate, they ought to be confined to the crater. Unless, of course, the Void Gate begins to expand of its own accord, or some gargantuan monstrosity tries to barge through, I don't foresee any major problems.
Yeah, that's a red flag right there.
Oh, nope. We're doomed.
There you are.
I left the data in Shale's capable hands and teleported here as soon as I heard. And ere you ask, I made sure to bring the key with me.
Then the real threat yet awaits us.
'Tis Golbez's domain beyond the Void Gate. I wonder how he and Zero are faring.
Well, with everyone here, I guess we're going to have a duty-supported trial, aren't we? Well, this is happening fast. Give everybody else a ring. We're gonna need them here quickly. Zem is speaking directly to us. As if they knew this was going to happen. I'd always suspected that we might be a time-traveled version of a Zem in the future in some expansion.
They're headed your way!
Let them come.
The Red Moon of the 13th.
What are you doing here?
Long story. No time to explain.
Trust you to state the obvious. May as well make yourself useful. The gate's sheer size appears to have made it a tempting target.
Enuo, a dread void scent risen from the benighted depths of the ocean. They kept to the confines of their domain while Zeromus endured. No longer, it would seem. And once they had discovered a path to the Red Moon, they wasted no time in making the journey.
Leave the Void Scent nearby to us. You take care of NOO. Facing this many foes calls for a more familiar approach.
Back to Reaper, huh?
Void Scent can change their form at will. Both light and darkness are mine to wield. Besides, what better to purge darkness from the Void than darkness itself?
Now to see if we can pull off a real trick. Bring all of our friends from the source.
Who dares face me? A mere mortal. Hast thou come in search of power? Renown? I fight to end this world without end. All who stand before me shall fall.
Interesting choice, Neo X-Death's theme. Alright, so my choice would be to bring the Scions of the Seventh Dawn here, using exactly the same summoning technique, but I guess they're just not going to let you do it here. So, the Unmaking. Let's queue in. And while we wait, born by the key on a gleaming golden path. Oh, never mind, here we go. Alright, food. And let's go for it.
All who dare oppose me shall quake before the silken dark.
Yeah, he kind of did come out of nowhere. I think I guessed right on the meteor rain there. Okay.
The Void's power is mine to wield. Perish.
Not grows.
Be still.
Gaze of the Void. Ah! Different than I was thinking.
Accept your downfall.
Not hunts. Okay. Oh, I see. Stay between the two targeted ones. And it's gonna fall to me now. Meltdown.
Doth the yawning rift not tempt you?
Let's get that out again for the meteor rain.
Consumes. Naught will endure.
Phase 2?
Neither past nor future. Only one certain remains.
I'm not sure how far I'm supposed to go. I mean, this looks far enough to me.
I breach the darkness. Let the light guide you.
Alright, now we get out of here. Okay, that's a fun mechanic. I did it the wrong way, but okay.
The underlings are no more. Now to deal with NOO.
Life and death rendered meaningless.
Light, protect us.
I will not yield my domain! Such is the power of the Void.
Not grows.
The Void shall never cease to be. My power is absolute. The Void's power is mine to wield. And thus did all boundaries cease to be.
Yeah, this is definitely a reimagining of the Neo XIV fight.
Behold the truth of this world! not your downfall. Doth the yawning rift not tempt you? Be still.
Got that one down now.
Perish.
Block the meteor rain. Or rather, reduce it.
Doth the yawning rift not tempt you? Be still.
Huh. Went in a weirder order than I was expecting. Okay.
Thus did all boundaries cease to be.
Well, we're done here, so... Down they go!
They must be sealed away.
And there's the crystal I was talking about earlier. Enu's reign is at an end. It's over. Alright, let's get out of here. That means you still have sent something in to check.
I'm glad you came. We would have struggled to face Enuo alone.
Actually, maybe not.
I presume you journeyed here to prevent more void scent from passing through the gate.
Mm-hmm.
With Enuo defeated, there are none left in this realm who pose a serious threat. I dare say the problem is resolved.
Have you noticed any abnormalities in the void of late?
Nothing comes to mind. Why'd you ask?
The source is being attacked.
So the breach wasn't limited to the Void Gate. For better or worse, precious little has changed in the 13th since the Romus fell. Have you noticed anything unusual?
I know not the reason events have unfolded this way, but there is, perhaps, an explanation as to why the Void Gate and the fissures opened. Here, in my domain, even the slightest change is keenly felt. When the gate opened, I sensed not the workings of some external force. Rather, it felt as if the barrier between our worlds was weakening naturally, moment by moment, until the two came to meet.
And you think this weakening could be happening elsewhere?
'Tis a possibility.
What of Radzatan and Garlemald?
That reminds me, I owe you something.
Eulus took mercy upon the interloper. Whether Voidsent or Garlean, we all share the same longing for home. Should we meet, I will gladly offer them aid. Please tell Eulus as much. Wait, how exactly did you get here? No mortal could traverse the Void Gate in its current state.
We have a key.
And this path of yours is still there. I cannot see it.
You know, if I didn't know any better, that looked kind of like a gate.
Nor does it reveal itself to me. Perhaps the path serves only the key bearer.
And I'm making a Chrono Trigger reference here.
So it is not a means to travel freely back and forth. A pity. I would have liked to see my friends again.
Now seems an opportune time to give Zero the parcel Eulus prepared for her. That key of yours intrigues me. Had my former self known of its existence, I might have sought different means to reach the source. You know what? I wonder what they're saying on the other side. If there are any NPCs around, that is. There are no NPCs around. Something for me? Let us hand over a paper parcel full of still warm dumplings, packed with care by Eulus. That smell. Food, is it? I recall Ulysses speaking of the dumplings his mother used to make. Thank you for the parcel, and the fond memories. There's more than enough to share with Golbez. Now that he forgoes the aether of others, I'm sure he'll appreciate the sustenance. I sometimes wonder what the Void would be like if culinary traditionals flourished here once more. Whether it would suffice to break the cycle of mutual consumption. A heartening thought, if nothing else. Until our battle earlier, I hadn't called upon darkness in some time. In truth, I find light a better fit these days. Ever since you left, we've been roaming the void in search of individuals who would join our cause. Although we return to the Red Moon after sensing Enu's presence, rarely do we linger in a single location. However, if the interloper you spoke of does intend to seek me out, it might be wise to return to my domain. Why don't you join us? With Enu defeated, the source should be in no imminent danger. And we haven't been there in quite some time. And I recall back during Endwalker, there was a message saying that we would not be able to return there for quite some time. Good. We'll wait for you by the crater. So it'll be nice to see the town again. I presume you remember traveling by Nisroch? Once we reach the surface, the creature will convey us to my domain. There is a teleporter situated between here and the center of the moon. I used it to travel to the surface in days long past, though I seldom had need once my generals were in place. Igiorm herself crafted the device that I might lay low the Servant of Light. Ironic that we now use it seeking to restore light to the void. Forgive my idle reminiscences. 'Tis time we made our descent. Let's go. Yeah, it is so nice seeing this place again here. I hope we're able to keep this as a permanent location we can return to now. There are many in this domain who still fear me. I shall remain here to avoid needless provocation. Let's see who we have around before we progress. That must be Golbez. I would gladly consume his ether, if I stood the slightest chance of not being gobbled up first. I waited an eternity for Zeromus to save this world, but my faith was misplaced. In the end, it was Zero who brought us hope. She's the reason I keep coming back here day after day. Ever since she brought you to this domain, our numbers have swelled. We grow tired of conflict. No longer will I partake of the ether of other beings, not even if I shrivel and starve. Nobody up here. I mean, it's obviously a ruined town, but at least, you know, maybe they have a chance to rebuild somewhat in the near future here. Well, I appear to have made a complete recovery after the ignominy of starving to death. Maybe my fellow Voidsent here can be trusted. Alright, that's one side. Let's check out the other. Leave me be. Zero is amazing. Truly, Golbez is equal in every sense. How are you faring, mortal? I've been training to alter my form just like Zero. I'll be the very essence of beauty. Just you wait and see. Alright, looks like that's everything. Let's talk to Zero. Though it was not always so, many who live here now have chosen to do so because they support the cause. Indeed, if our numbers continue to grow, we may require more territory. Thankfully, we were able to harness the residual ether from Barbaricia's domain. Those reserves will enable me to expand mine as the need arises. Right, we had best prepare for our potential guest. Join me in my abode when you're ready. Okay, they're still saying the same thing. I imagine you remember these. The transmitters we used to receive light from the First. If memory serves, they work by channeling excess ether left in the wake of the flood into the Crystal Tower. Using the tower's cross-rift travel capabilities, light is then conveyed onto the 13th and into these devices. I have a mind to use them now, but they'll need to be set in an elevated location. Your assistance would be greatly appreciated. Using the transmitters in here won't suit my plan. We require higher ground. Alright. To higher ground we go. So, ether transmitter. This compact contraption facilitates the flow of ether when used in conjunction with other identical devices.
Upon activation, these transmitters will shine with light from beyond, sent courtesy of our ever-watchful friends. They will serve as beacons in the dark for those that would seek me out.
I did not expect to see you here.
Hi again.
I am Zero, and this is my domain. 'Tis a safe haven for those who abhor conflict. Among those gathered here, many aspire to restore this world to how it once was.
Such a thing is possible.
Indeed. Though how long the endeavor will take, I cannot say. But for those of us abandoned by death itself, what do we have but time to try, and try again?
Very well. This light is ample proof your comrade spoke true. However long it takes to restore our world, you shall have my aid.
And you shall have mine.
It would seem Julius's intervention has helped forge a new bond. Thank you for bringing word to me. I gather you'll head home sooner rather than later? You'll not be able to freely return to Zero's domain. Are you certain you wish to leave? Oh no! We just got back here! We have to give it up again! Ah. Why? I might have to race an. I'm considering racing another character up into Endwalker again, just so I can have access to this place again whenever I want to. I think that's the only way. All right, let's go. Actually, wait. Let's see if they're at least amongst the NPCs now. I mean, they kind of should stick out like a sore thumb right now. You seen anything different? Nope. There they are. Perhaps I shall use my abilities to assemble a dwelling in this domain. And at the very least, we can't leave without at least talking to Golbez one more time. That brilliant beam. Though but a drop in the ocean, I'm sure its radiance dispelled the darkness from within some few Voidsent. All right. Again, it's disappointing to lose access to this place so quickly again. But the MSQ pushes us ever on. Then let us return to the Red Moon. I'm sure you won't begrudge me a proper farewell.
Would you deliver a message to Euless for me? Tell him that we're making progress towards rebuilding our home. And I hope that he is too.
Enuo's Memoria will be safe here. The crystal containing Zeromus has been passed on to our allies in the First. If Enuo's Memoria might serve them in restoring their world, we shall likewise consider its transfer.
How much simpler it would be to aid one another in our respective fights, were it not for these boundaries between us. Safe travels, my friend. We take comfort in the knowledge that you're out there fighting too, wherever you may be.
Oh? It looked like the gate stayed there. So I guess we'll see.
No luck, I'm afraid. It appears he's not in Mare Lamentorum.
Wait. Is that...
Hey there.
God, you had us worried. You suddenly disappeared. We didn't know what to think.
Maybe we should link hands next time. I'll bring you along. If I can. Anyway, the 13th.
Shortly after you vanished, the Voidsent incursion abruptly ended. We surmised you had a hand in that, but never did it cross our minds that you were fighting alongside Zero and Golbez.
This golden path you said you traversed wasn't visible to us either. Nor did we hear a voice. Ethos. Might this be the key's true name?
While many mysteries remain, for now, I am glad to learn the state of affairs in the 13th. Golbez's suspicion that the barrier twixt worlds has begun to weaken. 'Twould certainly explain the surge in fissures manifesting in the source.
Yet what could be behind such a phenomenon?
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Ethos being a name from Xenogears as well. But anyway, hello, Ascian.
And who might you be? Not a void scent, I'd wager.
Greetings. I am Helmerut of the Ascians. We are your sworn foes, I know. But on this occasion, will you not put away your arms? I wish only to talk. Thank you for affording me a chance.
Bereft of the Unsundered, we were under the impression you and yours no longer had cause to continue your activities. That you should reveal yourself at this juncture. I assume you are the one who bestowed Calyx with the knowledge of summoning and the reflections.
Yes, that is correct.
Was it necessary to reveal my present form as well?
Calyx. So he succeeded in transferring his memories after all.
You trying to do a peace offering here?
Be at ease. Even were I to occupy a combat-oriented vessel, I would not have the ability to defeat you. You destroyed my plan, my life's work. I have naught to replace it, nor will I ever regain what I once had.
Emergency! Code! Attack!
Skimmy-san, thank you for the raid!
If you wish to speak, Halmarut, will you not tell us what it is that you hope to accomplish?
As you know, our star Aetheris was sundered into 4 and 10 shards in the time of the Ancients.
Some of those have already been rejoined. Others are still shards.
As the will of the star, Hydaelyn perpetuated this unnatural division for millennia. And in the wake of her passing, nature has begun to reassert itself. As a wound knits itself together, the star seeks to become whole once more. Yes, it seeks to rejoin with all of its shards. Unlike the one we Ascians attempted to orchestrate, however, the star's rejoining will afford mankind no special treatment.
All life and matter will be condensed into a single whole and remade for a new beginning. A complete rebirth.
Yeah, Rooks, I was thinking 2
Theris
planets.
will return to the way it once was. Hundreds of millions of years past. To a quiet and peaceful time. Long before the light of mankind was kindled.
Supposing for a moment we believe you, how can you possibly know all this?
It is an inevitability that I have foreseen since time immemorial. A future that awaits should creation be freed from the influence of Hydaelyn and Zodiac. The star is tolerant to life. It holds no grudges, and neither rages nor weeps for being sundered. Yet by the same token, it is indifferent to life's survival. No amount of devastation and death can compel it to stop the wheels of creation from turning. The earth shakes, and mountains spew fire. Floods wash away the fruits of labor, and icy winds freeze and starve. Countless perish as nature runs its course. So many seeds of life have already been lost. Yet in spite of this, people continue to believe that the morrow will come. But it will not. For nothing lies beyond the solstice, when all creation is reunited. When that day comes, every last trace of mankind shall be erased. I cherish man's journey. Despite losing his innocence and being made to live with suffering, he has forged ever onward. Strong, even as he is weak, his is a proud tale in the history of the star. It would be a shame for that tale to end. For all to wither and die, when some might yet survive. Would you not agree?
If a natural rejoining doth lead unto the solstice, then thine intent is to preemptively rejoin the worlds.
Correct. It was for this very purpose that Halmarut recruited suitable collaborators from the Reflections. Individuals like me, who would willingly doom another world in order to fulfill their aspirations. The Winterers, we are called. And if you and yours seek to protect all life, then sooner or later you shall have to contend with us.
Even if everything you claim is true?
Yeah, Rooks, I was gonna say, we've gone to several planets at this point. So, yeah, those are suitable habitats that people could go to temporarily.
What you've done, Calyx, it's unforgivable!
I do not ask that you be pragmatic, nor do I seek your approval. Given your familiarity with other reflections, 'tis only natural that you are averse to our methods.
My question is, how long until
But
this happens?
there is one irrefutable fact that you must understand. Should we take no action at all, the solstice will come, and no one will be left alive. No one. Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit. Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
Xenos.
Wait!
Yeah, again, my question is, okay, so this natural rejoining is going to happen. How long from now? Because if we at least have some time, yeah, we could just resettle everybody to other planets. And for those that don't have access, as it were, that are still on the shards, you know, we could help them build the same technology that would take them out to the stars. It's not that big of a deal if we at least have some time available. It's just a question of how much. Because if it's like a reasonable amount of time, like maybe 50 years, I could see everybody getting off in that amount of time. But if we're talking maybe a matter of months, then that's going to be a problem. Alright, let's talk to everybody and see what they're thinking. Nothing from Alpha, no. Alma can't be speaking the truth, can she? You'll have to forgive me. I'm still coming to terms with it all. To think that individuals of Calyx's ilk, or worse, exist on other shards. The Ascians once labored to resurrect Zodiark, and bring back those who rendered up their lives to summon him. For the sake of those who now live, we fought tirelessly to oppose them. If Halmarut doth truly seek a rejoining to avert this solstice, to ensure some survive when otherwise all would perish, then our interests are not so disparate. Trust the Ascians to be plotting something utterly reprehensible. Though I am tempted to dismiss a preemptive rejoining as an utterly absurd solution, her words are not to be taken lightly. There you are. One moment you were standing before me, and the next you had vanished into thin air. Thanks to you all, the Void Scent have been eradicated, and the gate lies sealed once more. There's been nary a peep from the crater. Though I can't help but notice none of you seem to share my enthusiasm. Is something wrong? The star seeks to become whole. But that's preposterous. As far as I'm aware, Heidelin made no mention of a natural rejoining. I ought to consult the records to be certain. But not before thanking you for dispatching the Void Scent so handedly. You well and truly saved the day. Alright, let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm taking the silver piece. The implications of the solstice and the winter's schemes, as well as our approach moving forward, will take time to consider. To that end, I believe we should gather and speak in person. And by we, I mean all of our fellow Scions. For a change of pace, why don't we convene at the Rising Stones? I'm sure Tataru and the others would be happy to meet us there. A fine idea. In many ways, our return is long overdue. No doubt we could all use some respite after Garlemald, but I trust there are no objections. 'Tis settled then. To the Rising Stones. Brave return indeed. Living Way? Rest assured, we will do all we can to support your endeavors. Two more Dona. We have not been back here in quite some time. Not since the end of Endwalker. At times like this, the company of friends is all the more precious. In spite of times, this is... Oh my goodness, I can't get that word. Some things endure. This sanctuary is surely among them. Since leaving for Tyrol, we've been almost constantly on the move. It feels good to put my feet up in familiar stamping grounds. It feels like a lifetime ago I first set foot within these walls. Though, given we've all experienced a lifetime's worth of triumphs and tribulations in the interim, perhaps that is only natural. Tis a pity my stay in Tyrol came to such an abrupt end. I should like to make arrangements to remain in touch with Shale. There was much and more to take care of in Garlemald, even after tending to the wounded. I shall be sure to share a full report with Ojika. And is anybody around? Nobody in here. And nobody in here. Nary a thing has changed since we last gathered here. No doubt Tataru is chiefly responsible for the prevailing state of tidiness. Speaking of whom, she and a great many of our comrades are en route. Let us wait for them a while longer.
Long it hath been since last we gathered here. Though our order's dissolution was indeed in name only, thereafter we did largely operate independent of one another. All of which is to say, Full glad am I to stand in such esteemed company once more.
Apologies for our delay. We're reporting for duty, as bid.
This is everyone that we could round up on short notice. The others are still en route. Estinian alone we weren't able to make contact with, but we're working on it.
No doubt his link pearl is buried at the bottom of his bag.
Knowing him, he'll turn up when we least expect it.
Now, as much as I'd like to savor our reunion, Tataru tells us there have been developments. Will you apprise us of the details?
The world is apparently threatened once again.
The Winterers and the Solstice.
The veracity of Halmarut's claims remains unclear. Yet it cannot be denied that, in his bid to convert the living into endless, Calyx was privy to knowledge of the reflections and more.
And the Winterers are formed of others, like him.
In light of the recent Voidsent incursions, I believe it would be wise to treat the Solstice as a genuine threat. The problem is how to deal with it.
Both the source and the reflections are home to irreplaceable life. I would protect them all if I could. But if doing so means ushering in complete annihilation, then what can we possibly do?
I wonder, was Hydaelyn aware of the solstice?
Given that we had no knowledge of it when you journeyed to Elpis, you couldn't have warned Venar. So it is entirely possible she was unaware. But in the course of sustaining the Sundered Star, she may have glimpsed this eventuality.
There's one that might have known. I think she knew and chose to trust in us. But I don't think we're the complete picture of the puzzle here. I think she confided in perhaps one other. Yes, there is the possibility of it being a lie. But if there is another person that she confided this all in, then I know where to find them. And they're on the moon. The Watcher.
So she believed that we could overcome this trial as well. Or rather, that the choice was ours to make.
Whichever it may be, It is we who must find the answer. We who live in the here and now.
Perhaps we could take a recess? Oh, I dare say everyone could use a rest.
Indeed. We have ample food for thought, and it would be good to catch each other up.
Ere I forget, Heron, I believe you should keep the key, Ethos, in your possession. After all, it seems that is one mystery I am not destined to unravel.
Guess I'll be going shard hopping then. Now the only question is, are we going to come to the realization before things end here today? Because keep in mind, this portion of the MSQ is broken into 2 parts. So let's speak with everybody and let's see what we got. It seems our colleagues have much to catch each other up on. I shall have to brew some tea. Don't worry about me. I'm sure you've plenty to discuss with all these old faces. It was by no means an easy decision. But as the solstice is now our paramount concern, Alice and I have opted to formally withdraw from our efforts in Garlemald. After all, anything we can do to protect our world will also serve to keep the Garleans safe. Ulyss and his comrades are already working towards a brighter future of their own accord. Honestly, I'm more worried about us. It's so difficult to see the path ahead, but hopefully we can get through this and return to Garlemald with our heads held high one day. Indeed. In the meantime, let us prepare a letter for Ulyss and the community. We mustn't let despair stay our hand. Taru is ever the considerate facilitator. Grateful am I to refrain from weighty discussions and simply converse with old friends. After Urianger and I went off on our own, we decided to spend some time exploring Shak Tural. We never had the chance to visit during the Rite of Succession, you see. We journeyed east through Lozeneheta before heading up the coast to the frigid northern reaches, where they revere a storied beast of the sea. The excursion only served to reinforce just how diverse Tural really is. We also met with the Wallaki. Though we had not the time to study their arts in length, we were privy to several intriguing demonstrations. The Wallaki, of course, being those that taught us how to be a blue mage. Or rather, Martin did, but Martin learned it from the Wallaki. Would that we could have indulged our curiosity further and traveled to yet more distant lands. For better or for worse, pragmatism tempered our wanderlust. Suffice it to say, we still have plenty to see on the continent. I should very much like to return, given the chance. That, or I was thinking there could be some sort of a time skip coming up. Although, we don't know if that's going to happen before or after 8.0 happens. Judging by your guise, Clements, your studies must have been productive. Indeed, I have more or less mastered the fundamental principles of Charlian astrology. At one point, I considered exploring other healing arts, but decided to persevere with more focused training to better leverage my skills on the battlefield. I don't think I'd be much use on a battlefield these days. I can scarcely hold my bow steady, let alone hit a target, so sorely bereft of brotherly ministrations as I am. I knew you still required constant supervision. You two haven't changed in the slightest. It makes me wonder how our colleagues that couldn't join us today are faring. Oh, Aenor. I hoped you'd come to your senses, but I see you're still in the throes of withdrawal. The brothers are reunited, yet a distance between them persists. How cruel fate is to force me to choose. Hearing our comrades' tales reminds me of my efforts to master pictomancy. We've all come so far, striven so hard. Even after discussing the revelations concerning Calyx, there is a great deal to share. 'Tis difficult to know where to begin. Aenor and I were training in Gridania when Voidsent attacked the Twelswood. Thankfully, we were able to fend them off with the help of the Twin Adders. When I heard the invasion had already spread across the star, I realized the gravity of the situation and ordered a confidential report sent to the other Scions. That's why Tataru was so quickly apprised. Thanks to you, we were able to make haste for Garlemald. While circumstances and duty may keep us apart, we remain bound by common purpose. Indeed, may that purpose continue to guide us now that we stand together once again. I helped repel the Voidsent incursion in Lapis Manalis. Fighting off fiend-controlled Galatae is something I won't rush to relive, but it was nonetheless good training. This latest development is indeed a shock, but I am heartened to see not a single face clouded with despair. Before I proceed, I thought I saw a face here that we don't see on the floor currently. Huh, maybe not. Alright, Hoary Boulder. Coltonet and I have remained in Corvos to monitor the situation among the Garleans and the Corvosi. Though seldom smooth sailing, in time the region settled, and we were able to return. I understand the Garlean community has made great strides in improving relations with other peoples. Hearing that, I feel renewed zeal for resolving the issues in Corvos. Then perhaps you'd like to hear more about the Garleans' accomplishments from me and the twins. It might stoke the fire even hotter. A check mark over Tataru. It seems everyone has much and more to discuss with one another. Anyway, you're overdue for a proper break. The peace and quiet will help you think. Feel free to make yourself comfortable in Dawn's respite. Dawn's respite, huh?
Of course, should it serve to satisfy your ambition, you are welcome to deal with the reflections as you deem fit. Like the pariah and wanderer who satisfied his own when he brought the star to the brink of ruin to face you.
I detest evenings such as this. Too bright, too stimulating. The mind distracted by the inconsequential.
Calyx?
You needn't be so wary. I merely come to offer information before my departure. Halmarut and I will soon cross the rift to observe the enactment of another Winter's plan. Our destination is the fourth. A world locked in ice, whose lands are blanketed in thick clouds. In order to survive, man has fled to the skies, using great magics to establish new civilizations.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's sounding like the Magic Kingdom of Zeal from Chrono Trigger. Which, funny thing, when I first saw Elpis, I thought that was also a representation of Zeal, so... we'll have to see. Why are you telling me where you're going?
I have my own designs I would see realized. Nothing more. Believe me or don't, as you like. For all I know, you lack the means to follow us anyway. What Halmarut said to you earlier. She suggested that dealing with the reflections might satisfy your ambition. But is that truly so? You have seen battles beyond counting, have defeated even the fear of death. Is there some conclusion that you seek, no matter the cost? I will share with you a truth. We Winterers each have an ambition that we wish to fulfill. To that end, we may share information with one another, but we do not necessarily share the same beliefs. Just as you and yours decried my actions, I find those of my fellows objectionable. Be that as it may, it is the culmination of our lives' works that we would bring to the world, fruits born of undying devotion, daring aspiration, and unwavering ideals. No matter how we are reviled, no matter what we must steal, our actions will be vindicated by those who abide in the future we create. In your benevolence, you may seek to save everything and everyone. But once all is consequently consigned to oblivion, your noble deeds will amount to nothing more than folly. For no living soul shall remain to judge them.
If shattered stars are doomed to mend, how turns the key to winter's end? Alrighty! And so, with that brings us to the end of part 1 of the 7.5 MSQ. Of course, there's going to be more coming in the future, although I do expect there's probably going to be some delay before I can get to that when 7.55 comes around. But that's not all we have for Final Fantasy XIV. Next week, we are going to be finishing up the Alliance Raid series. So, with all that said, thank you for joining me today. This is PrinceBrightstar signing off. I'll catch you next time.